and welcome to This Is the Day. My name is Sarah Otieno. I hope you're having a lovely evening and you are well kept of the Lord. Well, we are live on Family TV and also live on Family Radio, where the music does the talking. And today we're talking about a very sensitive issue when it comes to marriages and relationship, and that is relationship wrangles and how to resolve them. So I'll start over by reading to you an SMS that came in during the morning devotion session. And because of fear of being victimized, I will hide the identity of the person who sent this message. So here it goes. Hello, Pastor James. Thank you so much for the program. I have been having issues with my husband. Sometimes it gets physical and emotional torture also comes in. We have been having wrangles for quite some time and this problem doesn't seem to end. Please help me on how I can resolve this. That is just one out of the many SMSs that come in during the morning devotion, during prayer circle here on Family TV and Family Radio. And it's something that I want us to tackle today and just find solutions to this problem, relationship and marriage wrangles. And in studio, I have, I want to say, the best relationship coach, counselor you can come across.
Thank you.
Nyokabi BK Kamau.
Thank you.
Sijasahau?
Yes.
Kamau.
I see unakumbuka.
Hey,
you have to say Kamau.
I don't want conflict. Karibu sana.
Asante.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well, I thank God.
Well, we've had that case study. It's just one out of the many that come in here
Yes.
during the prayer request and
Yes.
morning devotion session. And it's very unfortunate that most people are going through the same problems. Others would speak out,
Yes.
others won't.
Yes.
So today I want us to tackle that, relationship and marriage wrangles.
Yes.
So in your definition, what is a wrangle?
What is a wrangle?
Yeah.
Wrangle and the W is silent.
Hey.
So they are marriage wrangles.
Yes.
This is a dispute or an argument between two people, two parties. And it's more like a quarrel or a conflict that's happening in the middle of something.
Okay.
But what's causing it is that I feel unheard, you feel unheard. So we are having a disagreement because you're not listening and
Okay.
I'm not listening.
Okay.
And I feel like you're not listening and you feel like I'm not listening. So we are at a place where we are not in the same level. So it's a quarrel between two people, between groups of people, between staff, between friends, between spouses. That's what a wrangle is. It's a dispute or an argument or a disagreement between, oh wow, those are so many words.
I know.
Right?
Agreement, disagreement,
Quarrel,
dispute,
it's a
quarrel,
crash, it's a
conflict.
Yes.
Okay.
I've opened it well.
Yeah, and clearly from the definitions, it's not a good thing.
It's not.
Okay.
Yes, it's not.
All right. So are there types? Ama, do we just say any kind of conflict is a wrangle? Are there some specific types of wrangles and
Yes,
conflicts?
there are specific types. There is task conflicts. Where,
Task.
yes, a task conflict. Like now, for example, if we decided we want to do something, and there's a particular way you want it done, and I've done it differently. That is a task conflict.
Okay.
For instance, I can agree that I want to go, you send me to the supermarket, but you want me to go at 8 in the morning, and me, I want to go to the supermarket at 11. That's a task conflict.
Okay.
The way you want the task handled and the way I'm handling it is not going in par with what you want. So that's a task conflict. There's also another type of conflict. There's the process of how it is done, and this one is found a lot in relationships. The process, how are you processing what I'm telling you, how are you handling what I'm saying, how that process of processing the things that are happening around us are a good source of conflict, because the way I see it is not the way you see it.
Yeah, sure.
And the way I see it always seems to be like the gospel truth, if I may put it that way. But the way you're seeing it is wrong and unacceptable. So that process is also a source of conflict. Excuse me. And then also there is financial disagreements. There's also personality traits. What kind of a person are you? That's a source of conflict, and it is a type of a conflict whereby we disagree because, like now, let me give you an example. Sanguines do not like melancholics, and they don't know that because melancholics are quiet and reserved, and they want to talk slowly.
Okay.
And
The
sanguines, they want to talk at the top of their voice.
Yes.
And they want to be loud. And everything is is big and it's blown out of proportion. That's a source of conflict.
Okay.
Because now my personality wants to be jovial and playful and all over the place. And then this other person wants things, tone it down, calm down.
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
it there? With the hype, yes? So that's a source of conflict. So there are so many types of conflicts depending on where you are and the reason behind them that causes them to happen.
Okay.
Yes.
I like that you have already pointed out about financial conflict.
Yes.
And we'll talk more about it a little bit later because from a lot of cases that I personally have had, finance causes a lot of wrangles and conflict.
Yes.
Okay. And that is just one
Yes.
of the causes.
It's a part of, it's an element. Yes.
So what are other causes that can cause me and my partner or me and my husband to have wrangles and conflict?
Well, with partners, it could be previous disappointments.
Okay, so he's just piled up what I did a while back.
And because you had done it previously, now they sit back and wait for you to fail again. So it's a cause of a conflict. So before I had told you, please remove this seat for me here, you didn't remove it. You took forever.
Ukaweka.
Yes. So the next time I give you a task, I'll be sitting back and waiting for you to do what you did last time. So previous disappointments are the causes of conflicts. And this is a subconscious thing.
Yeah.
You don't realize you're doing it. You're just sitting there. When they do it, when you comment and say, and by there I knew this guy would do that. And even after you have actually confessed that it's from the previous disappointment, you still don't realize. Your mind doesn't register. Hiya, I'm still expecting him to fail me the way he failed me previously. I'm still expecting her not to do the task as I had assigned her to do it. But you're not bringing it together and realizing that you're still holding them accountable for something they did that you should have moved past.
Okay.
Yes. And another cause would be...
Just let me interrupt you, Kidogo.
Yes, please.
When you said that, and I felt like women, we are like the most guilty people here because
of file keeping.
Yeah, exactly. Because someone would wrong me right now, and I won't say it.
Yes.
I'll put it inside me until something big comes out, and then, or rather, just something small, and then I blow it out of
You blow it,
proportion.
yes, because you didn't deal with it. And even if you dealt with it, you dealt with it on the surface.
Okay.
You never reconciled. Most of us, we fight, we disagree, we have our conflicts, we talk about it on the surface, we never reconcile. Because reconciliation is putting that issue to bed. You have felt healed, I have felt healed, we have put it to bed. We have agreed to move past it. But most don't. You live and somebody will tell you, "Nilikwambia pole, na ukanisamehea." So why are you bringing it up again? That's the challenge. So you haven't reconciled the situation.
Yeah.
Because you haven't reconciled the situation, it will keep coming back. It will keep coming back because it's still on the surface. It's a wound that just covered up a little bit. Something small just opens and rips off the bandage and you start all over again.
Sawa.
Yes.
Other causes.
Other-
Feeling couple. Hey, a lot of people I know are victims
Of that.
Yeah.
Uncertainty. Uncertainty is a cause of conflict in marriage. The not knowing. The most conflict that I find in marriages is that it's not even uncertainty of finances, and it's not even uncertainty of having children or not having children. The major ones that people think is the uncertainty of knowing, does this person love me?
Okay.
Will they still love me? Do they still want to be with me? Have they heard what I'm saying? I am their wife by name, or I'm their husband by name, or we are in a relationship because we are stuck together.
Okay.
We don't want to come out, we don't want to embarrass our parents, we don't want to embarrass. So that uncertainty is a source of conflict. You're feeling that love is threatened. You don't feel secure in the love of this person. So even when they correct you or they challenge you on something, it feels like an attack to you.
Okay.
Or like now they are saying, I have given up on you and I no longer want to be with you. Or you're wondering, this is it? This is the mistake I had to make so that this relationship dies. So that uncertainty is also another cause of conflict in relationships.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Are there any other causes?
Yes,
Before I ask about what I'm thinking right now.
No.
Because I feel like it's burning, eh?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the other one, that it's dependency. Over dependency, under dependency, whatever kind of dependency that's there.
Okay.
With couples, you'll find that the one that illustrates it best is husband and wife. The husband is working. The wife is a housewife. She's at home taking care of the children. And maybe she has an assistant who's helping her in the house. The husband is sitting there and thinking, hey, I'm paying rent for you. I am taking the children to school. I am even giving you medical. If you need to shop, I provide for you, even for your own personal things. What are you doing in this marriage? What is your role? That is that's a very serious cause of conflict between the two of them. And then the wife is sitting back and she's saying, I iron your clothes. I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I prepare you. I have carried your babies. I have prepared them and taken them to school. What do you mean? What am I doing in this marriage? So that dependency and not recognizing what the other person is doing is a source of conflict in marriage. Especially if both of you don't recognize each other's role. So you as a husband, you're doing your part, you're bringing your 100%, but also your wife is bringing her 100% by taking care of the home and giving you the peace of mind that you're not worried about the children. Have they showered? Have they eaten? Have they done their homework? Have they been picked from school? You can concentrate with what you're doing and be able to bring the resources in the family. But if you sit there and you're wondering, because you're bringing in the money, what is this person doing really in this family? That is a source of conflict. That over dependency. And then now when the woman starts feeling like I have to ask you for everything, you start feeling undervalued, like you're not becoming important. Like, so whenever you get an opportunity to voice what you need to voice, you voice it properly. I am significant now, whether you like it or not, and you will face me now. So that is that issue of dependency. I'm depending on you, you're depending on me, and not just also financially. There are people who are overly dependent on their spouses emotionally. Yes. You want your wife to be your best friend, your counselor, your mentor, your cheerleader. You want her to be everything. And the wife the same. You want your husband to validate you, whether you're beautiful or not, whether you wash the dishes nicely. You're depending on that person too much emotionally. You are depending on them to be the source of your happiness. You're depending on them to be life itself. So that over dependency also is a source of conflict, because I can't be that all the time. I'm human. There's a day I'll wake up and I really don't want to tell you look good. There's a day I'll wake up and I really don't want to hear how your work went in the office, and I don't want to encourage you, and I don't want to support you, because I'm also going through my own thing. But if you see you're depending on me, I'll start saying, you're neglecting me. You're abandoning me. You don't love me the same way you used to love me. You don't take care of me. Are you seeing that dependency? Yes, it's a source of conflict between two people. Yes. Yes.
Well, let me ask you a question that maybe someone is already thinking of.
Yes.
Family members, extended family members.
Oh yes, in-laws.
Can that be a source and a cause of conflict?
Major source of conflict. It is actually most of the external conflicts that are in nuclear families are because of family members, are because of parents, are because of sister-in-laws and brothers-in-laws, because they want to come in, especially parents, and dictate how you should live with your spouse. And some parents will even go to an extent to tell you which schools you should take your children, how you should dress your children. And others want to address your wife and tell her how she should dress, how she should look, how, the mannerism in how she should behave. And others from the side of the wife, they want to cross the line and keep on asking your husband for resources and calling. When Gasikisha, your mother-in-law calls your husband and goes like, Gas, it's
it's so annoying. Like, I can get it from your voice.
It's so irritating. And then the sisters-in-law, they want to come over. Like now, for instance, my sister-in-law would want to come over to my house, and because she's my sister, we are probably the same size. And she picks some of the things and lives with them. Same case.
Clearly, no boundaries.
And they want to come to, and maybe you're hosting your sister-in-law, and she wants to come there and come home whenever she wants, knock the door whenever she wants. Bring her friends and do whatever. So all those things are sources of conflict, but these ones are external. They are not within the marriage. So the ones that we are going to focus on today were the ones that are mostly
within the marriage
between the husband and the wife, because even children can be a source of conflict. House helps can be a source of conflict. Church can be a source of conflict. TV stations and friends can be a source of conflict
Friends.
in marriage.
Friends.
Yes.
Friends. Hold on to that, kidogo.
Friends.
Friends.
Yes.
I'll ask a question about friends a bit later.
Mm-hmm.
But for now, when people have this conflict,
Yes.
the most definite reaction are quarrels, physical abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me just ask you a straight question. Is
Yes.
argument right in marriage?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
It is very right. You should argue.
Okay.
This is why you should argue.
Mm.
We are two different people. We haven't been brought up the same way. Mm-hmm. Even people who have been brought up the same way, siblings who are the same father, the same mother, argue and they disagree.
Mm-hmm.
So arguments are healthy in marriage because they help both of us to be on the same page.
Okay.
And nobody is dominating over the other. So I get to express myself, you get to express yourself. You get to be heard, I get to be heard. And through that, we work together. The two become
One.
But if you don't argue, if you don't disagree, then it means there's somebody who is being oppressed. Kuna ule mwenye anadanganya mwingine. Right?
Okay.
There is one who is not being honest. Because we can't be on the same page, all of us. But how do two go on a journey? When you say your views, and I say my views, and we find a middle ground together.
Okay.
So arguments are healthy and they are encouraged. When I see couples and they say, as you don't fight, I just smile at the back of my face and I'm like, wait for
Really?
it. Wait for it.
Yeah.
One day the two of you will not just argue, you will burn the house. So it's good to have healthy, respectful disagreement. The problem comes in when you start arguing disrespectfully.
Okay, and that is where we can say that it has gone overboard.
It has gone overboard and it has taken another turn that it should not. So the issue is not disagreeing. Even God says, come, let's sit together and discuss. Come, let's reason together. So it means I could be having a different perspective than what he has, and I tell him my perspective and he listens and he sees how if God can sit with us and reason, why can't we sit together and reason?
Okay.
So an argument is healthy, but it has to have respect in it. It has to have consideration and sensitivity.
Okay.
The problem that makes it a conflict is that when it starts being disrespectful, it starts crossing the line. You start attacking the person instead of the behavior.
And that's when we say it's disrespectful.
It's disrespectful,
argument.
yes. When you start saying, you, Sarah, you're selfish.
Oh, okay.
All right? Instead of what you did was selfish. There is a difference. If you tell me I'm selfish, my friend, we will meet. Tutapatana, we'll sort it out. But if I say what you did was selfish, then it's not you as a person that I'm attacking.
Okay.
It is the behavior that I'm addressing.
Wow, and I remember we tackled this the other time we were talking about relationship issues again.
Yes.
Attack the behavior,
Not the person. Yes. Address the behavior, not the person. So where the argument becomes unhealthy is when now you start attacking the person.
Yeah.
And telling them negative things, harsh words, painful things, and you can't take back what you have said. So once you have opened your mouth and the argument is going and you're not addressing the issue, then there's a problem. Address what is concerning you. That's the proper way to have an argument and a disagreement.
Okay.
Not the person.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. So again, this argument is here, and let's just go back to the issue of friends again.
Yes.
Arguments, disrespectful arguments, could be because of friends.
Absolutely.
And in this case, just let me give you a case scenario. Maybe I'm married to this person who's not extroverted. They're very introverted. And then I bring over my friends.
Yes.
And because I'm extroverted, then I feel like I'm okay, And my partner is not very okay with that.
Yes. The example I've given you of personality traits. Yes.
Okay. So where am I supposed to put my boundaries, especially for young couples? And I feel like this really affects them.
Yes.
Young couples. Friendship. So where am I supposed to put these boundaries to make sure that this conflict and this wrangle is avoided because of my friends?
First of all, marriage is for two.
Tuanzie
hapo.
Yes.
Let's just make it. If there's any confusion, we clarify right now. Marriage is for two. Okay. Husband and wife and God at the center.
Yes.
So the rest are supposed to be outside of that marriage. So if you're making a decision and that decision does not accommodate your partner, it is a wrong decision.
Okay.
if your partner is not comfortable with it. But the problem with these quiet people, they say, ni sawa tu, wacha wakuje.
And then anaumia ndani.
But anaumia ndani.
Yeah.
So, but be honest so that the argument can be fruitful, can bear good fruits. Or you can agree and say, we will host them, but for an hour or two.
Okay.
Not until tomorrow morning. So the marriage is for two. So let your friends, your parents, your relatives, your cousin, your best mate, everybody who is related to you one way or the other, stay out of the marriage, and then the marriage to stay within the two of you. Yes.
Okay. And what are some of the effects of these disrespectful arguments? Because now we already have our word. See, wrangles na conflict. Disrespectful
Arguments. One of the major ones that we have really seen in this country and we are suffering with right now is separation.
Yeah.
Or even what that lady was sharing that question. And she's saying she's concerned because she's being abused physically and she's being abused emotionally. Those are some of the effects of unheard or unresolved wrangles. Because when this person is crossing the line with you, crossing the line in the sense that they're abusing you. If somebody constantly, if you woke up one morning, I want to illustrate with a story I've heard before of frogs. They were put in pots, let's say like clear pots, like 3 or 4 pots. And let's use 3 frogs. So there are 3 frogs here. They're put in a container, a glass container. The first frog, they pour in hot water at once. What happens to the frog?
It dies.
Tap. That's it. It can't adjust the body temperature. It can't do anything. To the second frog, they put in hot water little by little, giving it a chance to adapt. Giving it a chance to get used to that temperature. In the third pot, they don't give it anything at all. So it just stays in that state. Now I want you to look at this marriage in this content of conflict. We are here, you bombard me with everything that you have been keeping one day. One morning you wake up and you tell me, in fact, you're not even a good wife. In fact, you're not even a good husband. In fact, I don't even think you're good to your children. And I tell you all the things that I have been keeping within me. And I pour them on you. Pop. I overwhelm you. I break you. You don't know what to start with. You don't know what to deal with. You don't even know what it means for the marriage now. There's uncertainty takes its root. Then there is this other frog who slowly, we are solving our conflict. We are solving our differences. We are working on our personality traits. I'm beginning to learn what you don't like, what you don't love. At some point, I will get used to that temperature.
And you'll get comfortable.
And I'll get comfortable. The same applies to abuse. If you give me a dose, you're this today. Tomorrow, you're this. In fact, I don't even think you have a head. In fact, I don't know why your head is empty. Where did you sell your brain? I go and buy it back for you. So every day, you're giving me a small dose of abuse. Eventually, I will adapt. And that's why you find that people who are abused are not able to come out of those abusive environment. They're used to it.
Okay.
It is normal. There is nothing wrong with it. In fact, you tell them, where did you get that black eye?
Any nani too. He hit me yesterday, but it's okay.
Yeah, and they're so used to giving excuses. It's natural for them. I fell in the bathroom. I knocked myself with the door. They are so used to that temperature. These are the effects of unresolved conflict. You get used to it. And that's why you see a marriage has stayed for 40 years and one day somebody just wakes up and leaves. When they realize, well, why have I been doing this for this long? You know? So if you don't resolve them, you're constantly feeding your marriage, At some point, the marriage becomes stale.
Okay.
And you get used to not resolving issues. Your wife pisses you off, you're like, Your husband pisses you off, you're like, And you just leave it at that. And that's a very dangerous place to be as a couple. You have to talk, feed. Adjust. Dose kidogo tu. And eventually you'll be at a place where you can solve it. Is it making sense?
It is.
I know. You look puzzled.
I am. And I'm just thinking, this is what actually causes emotional torture.
Yes.
And people don't understand that it's because of this small dosage.
Yes. Small ones.
Wow.
Because, physical abuse you can see. You can see it. You can see the black eye. You can feel the physical pain. You can see the skin, the scratches.
Yeah.
You can see the scars. You can see them. But emotional, you can't see it. You see it in your temperaments. You see it in your behavior. And it's somebody else who sees, who knew you before the abuse, and then they start thinking,
and a change.
why have you become so timid?
Okay.
Why are you so shocked when somebody calls your name? Why are you always
Defensive? Yeah.
You see, emotional abuse, you have to be very attentive to see it. But you don't realize that it's happening to you until you lose your self-worth. You no longer take a shower. You don't want to comb your hair. You don't want to put on nice clothes. You don't even care how you smell. And whoever is around you, you have been abused so much that you have accepted those things that you have constantly been called, being called. So it's something that you have to be very attentive with.
Okay.
Yes. So if you're not solving it, you'll get used to it. So address it. Let him know, you call me this name and I don't like it.
I don't like it.
I don't like it. If you're calling me this name, I don't think it's something that I want to go on in this marriage.
Okay.
Yeah, but you're addressing the behavior, not the
Not the person.
Yes.
Okay. And what about the children? Can they be affected?
Yes. We think children don't see us.
Hey.
And they don't know what we are doing.
Yeah.
Children are just children. Wako tu, hapo tu, relax. But you see, children learn from seeing than hearing. So what you're doing is what they will do. The best example to give you of a family that's not united together, and I think I'd given you this one before, is that when a child says, Mommy, can I have some sugar? And mom says, No, go and finish your homework. That child goes to the father and says, Dad, can I have some sugar? And the father says, sure, why not? And the child goes and takes the sugar. In fact, ako almost fanya mama yake, Daddy amesema nichukue. You can see the dysfunctionality.
Yeah.
But if this child knows the answer I will get from mom is the same answer I'll get from dad, they will not attempt. They will not attempt. They will just stick with the way things are. So if the father and the mother are fighting, even children can even embarrass you. Have you ever heard of a story where a child said, anapigana kama mami na daddy?
Oh my goodness. I feel embarrassed for that.
In front of people.
Oh my.
So they are seeing you and they are watching you.
Yeah.
And what you're doing is how they will do things also. When it comes to their time, they will do exactly what you did because they are learning, they are imprinting what you're doing. Their subconscious is learning that a wife does not address her husband, that a husband comes home at 3 a.m. in the morning. Let me tell you a little story. I once was doing a counseling with a couple, and I asked, one of the major issues that the wife had is that this man doesn't come home. So I asked him, why don't you go home? He's like, why should I go home? Men don't go home. And he's convinced, he's fully persuaded that men don't go home. If you go home early, it's a genesis of conflict with your wife. It's a root. It's a cause. You start fighting with your wife over I don't know what. So I asked him, you're still fighting with your wife right now because you don't go home. So why not go home
and avoid this fight?
He's like, no, mwanaume andangi nyumbani mapema. So I said, so what time should a man go home? He tells me a man should not get to his house before 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. Okay. And because I'm a provider in that home, I will come when I want. And they will open the door when I want.
What?
So I asked him, where did you learn this? Who taught it to you? It's a doctrine that you have. Who taught you? And he tells me, well, my father.
He's been coming home at 12.
He's an old man now, and he still comes home at 12. So why should I go home?
So sometimes what we learn from our parents really affects.
And it takes root.
Okay.
In our hearts, in our minds, everywhere. And you can't pull it out. It's a process to change that behavior. It's a very long and tedious process to try and change that person who has imprinted that a man does not go home early.
Yeah.
So look at Vinyokavi trying to convince him that going home early does not make you less of a man. And it doesn't take away from you. You're still a man. But it's like, no, Nyokabi, no.
My
wewe
dad doesn't have
unadanganya.
the same sentiments.
Yes,
yeah?
we don't ask kwetu wanaume atuandange nyumbani mapema. It even becomes a community thing.
Wow.
And it's not one that I have heard saying that. So the way you're doing it in your family, your children are watching. The boys are learning, the girls are learning.
Okay.
Yes.
And when we're having this conflict, yani tumefika mwisho.
Yes.
And now it's time to resolve it. Who is supposed to initiate that process?
Who
is supposed to say, okay, Sawa, I am really sorry. Now let's just take it a notch lower.
Both of you.
Okay.
It's not the responsibility of either. Let me put it this way. This is how I look at conflict. Unajua wrestling, the wrestling.
WWE, yeah.
Yes, the heavyweight championship. So there are two opponents. There is the heavyweight and there is the heavyweight. Let's say both are at 110 and 110 kgs or pounds, as they like to call it. So they are here. What normally happens, in order for these two people to go into a fight, the opponent comes from the left. And, I'm battling with his fans, and he comes and he's ready to fight, and he gears up. And he gets ready and he paces and he sets himself and he's jogging and he's ready. And as he's preparing himself, the opponent comes from the left. Yeah, the same thing. He's gearing himself, he's pumping, he's getting ready. You can see him now. And they both get into the ring.
Yeah.
Now, both of them stay at their corner, waiting for the referee to say 20. So this one is standing there, he's hyping, he's exercising, he's doing his thing to set himself up for the fight.
Yeah.
And the other is doing their thing. And at some point, the referee will come and say, step forward, step forward, fight. And give them instructions. And as they fight, in between, the referee will come and separate them when they hug too much. You're not here to hug, you're here to punch each other.
Yes.
You know, when they hug, they want to see the physical bumping onto each other. So, in your marriage, what kind of a fight are you having?
Okay.
That's one example of conflicts that are your opponents. You're my enemy, I'm your enemy. We are fighting. I win, you lose. You lose, I win. There can only be one champion.
One winner.
There can only be one who goes home
with the belt.
It's either me or you. So each one of us is flexing. Mine is insulting. Yours is slapping. You know, so we are both throwing in our punches. We are both doing our thing right there so that we can see who is going to win.
Yeah.
And the enemy is there giving you referees. When you look like you want to keep quiet, when you look like you want to calm down, he reminds you.
Fight.
He reminds you of something you had done.
Yeah.
We are here for business. Or he reminds you of something she had done. And the fire keeps on. You have to keep on fighting until the enemy says and declares, or one of you passes out. It knocks out the other.
Or even dead.
Or even dead.
Ends up
in,
dead.
in the cases that we are seeing in our country today.
Yeah.
Or even one ends up dead because you have gone to the ring ready to engage your enemy. There's also another scenario of the same kind of contents, a marathon. All the opponents are in one line.
Yes.
Their goal, their enemy is not each other. It's to finish the race. There's a difference. It's not to knock each other out. It's not to pass each other out. It's not, let me see you, let me see you. It is our enemy is this 100 meters. And we are going to race it and finish it. One of us will finish first, one of us will finish second. But we are both tackling the race from the same
side.
end. So you're not focusing on your the person who you're racing against on this side and on this side. You're focusing
on the race. Yeah.
The 100 meters. Right? So the referee only gets involved once. When your marks, get set, go. Here we are. All of us. So nobody is really concerned with the other. At you're running with Kaguru. You're running with the Migumbili. Why don't you try hopping? Nobody is really concerned with what this other one is doing. They are focusing on the race.
Yeah.
To finish the race.
Okay.
To conquer their 100 meters. Right? So if you are in a marriage, to answer your question, you have to know, in order to resolve the conflict, you have to know what kind of a battlefield you're in. Are you in the battlefield where both of you are on the same line facing your enemy? trying to fight that family member who just can't understand boundaries.
Okay.
Trying to find this financial dependency that's proving to be a bit difficult. Trying to fight something that is causing the conflict. Trying to address the personality traits that keeps making us go separate ways. Am I getting somewhere?
Yes.
We are here on the same line, addressing the issue, not each other, the issue. And we are trying to overtake it. We are trying to fight it. We are trying to move past it. We are trying. So if you're that kind of a couple, then either of you is okay with starting to resolve the conflict. Either of you is ready to discuss what you're fighting about. Either of you is ready to sit down and say, okay, so what's going on? What did I do? What did I say? How did I say it? What was my tone? What really pissed you off the way it did? Because you're on the same line. But if you're in a marriage where the opponent is on the right and the other is on the left, it's a two-sided coin. It's attack and defend. And the enemy is there to help both of you. Attack and defend. I'm either attacking you, you're defending yourself, or you are attacking me and I'm defending myself. And at the end of it, that game will either end with one of us dead, or one of us passed out, or both of us full of
My nundu, they call it nundus.
the effects of the conflict. You can physically see that we have had a fight.
Okay.
But these people that are on the same line, you never see any of them with a dent. Have you ever seen any? Even if they fall, their faces
They
never.
fall and stand
They get up and they
again. keep running.
They keep running. This one, when they fall, they start being counted for 1, 2. You stay down too long, you
now
lose the fight.
you've lost.
So if you're trying to resolve the conflict in your marriage, decide. Are you in the kind of fight that's like a wrestling, or are you in the kind of fight that is like a marathon? Choose. When you know where you are, then either of you is okay with resolving the conflict.
Wow. Hey, send in your questions and any comment you have about this topic, what we are talking about right now, because we are going to answer some questions here. So keep them coming through the WhatsApp number 0786 316 316 and through the SMS line 20316. We are live on Family TV and also live on Family Radio. My name is Sarah Otieno and we are back on This Is the Day, discussing about the issue that is burning, especially if you are in a relationship or a marriage, and that is relationship wrangles. And we were given so many names for wrangles: conflict,
Dispute, argument, clash, quarrel.
hey. Yani, and all of them, funny enough, and so we are here with Nyokabi BK Kamau.
Yes.
And we noted earlier that all these names are negative.
Yes.
So it's not something good.
It's not something good.
Okay. So there's a question that has been asked here through the SMS platform. I'm very much willing to resolve my wrangles and conflicts, but what if my partner is not willing? So in this case, there's an unwilling partner.
First things first is not that your partner is not willing. They are hurting a lot. When somebody is hurting, or when somebody is feeling unloved and uncared for, their instincts is to go on the defense. And to try to protect themselves from the pain that's as a result of the conflict. So the first thing to do with this kind of a person is to recognize that they are hurting. It's not that they are not willing, it's that they are hurting. So once you recognize that they are hurting and you let them know that I see that you're hurting, and you ask them how they would like to resolve the issue. Is it that they need some time to process what has happened? Is it that they need to involve a third party to help you resolve it? Is it that they need you to change the tone of how you're trying to resolve the issue? They will help you understand how they would like to move forward. But there is nobody on this planet who is in a marriage and wants to remain in a wrangle. Nobody. Nobody wants to be in conflict with their wife. Nobody wants to be in conflict with their husbands. But the issue is how are we addressing it? Do we recognize their pain? Do we see it? Are we validating it? So how are you going about it? Try validating their pain. Try recognizing that they are also hurting. And then let them know that you see it. You recognize them. You feel them.
Okay.
The thing that we mostly desire from our spouses is to be seen, to be heard, and to be loved.
Wow.
Give
to
them
be seen,
to be heard, and to be loved. So
Okay.
give them those three things and they will respond positively. Let me put it this way. If I came here and I slapped you, what would be your response? You are peaceful, you are having a good day, your coffee was not even in the picture. And I came and I slapped you badly. Now you're having a bad day. You've had one of those mornings that the traffic is just, the matatus are just, everything is just not working the way you intended. And I walk into that door with a smile on my face, a warm smile.
Yes.
And I open up my arms to you. What will be your response?
Oh, my heart would be softened.
You'll be softened, you'll
Yeah.
be warm, and you'll be receptive to what I'm doing. So what this person needs to create is an environment that makes the other person receptive to a conversation. And sometimes giving some time before you actually address the issue helps a lot.
Okay.
Because when the wound is really fresh and painful, that may not be the best time. Because even they haven't had time to ponder on it and think about it. So also give it some time. Create an environment where there is some warm reception that's beginning to come in, and then address the issue when both of you are in the same page and in the same platform.
Okay.
But don't go saying, I want to talk about it now.
And maybe the other person is
yes,
not willing.
you slapped me yesterday, I want to talk about it now. And women, we have that tendency. Huku hakulalwi until, just give the man a break. I mean, let him process what has happened. And maybe tomorrow, bring it up. Let them know that you would like to talk about it.
In
You'd
a humble way.
In a
respectful
respectful
way.
tone.
Okay.
So that they can hear you out. Because even them, they want to move past it. But give them time to do it their way. Because it's them that's having the challenge.
So it's not that they're unwilling.
They are willing. Everybody is willing.
Okay.
It's how we are addressing the issue, the timing, and the place that person is emotionally. Take into consideration where that person is, and then work with that.
Okay.
Yes.
So if I'm getting you right, and I've already put it down as a tip
Yes.
of how someone can resolve these wrangles.
Yes.
Are there other tips that we're supposed to consider?
Oh, yes. Now, we had said the tips that I'm going to give you about conflict resolution. I'm so excited about these ones. They're so nice. I hope that God will help me to apply them in my own life.
He will. Yeah.
So the first tip that I'm going to give you is to identify what is your default setting of resolving conflicts. There are people who their default setting is to walk out, especially men. So this environment has become toxic.
Wacha nitoke.
I'm out. And they walk out. They go for
left.
walks, and they go to watch a game, or they go to do something.
Yeah.
So identify what is your default setting. So there are common settings that are there, and I'm using the word default, and I'll tell you why. So there are common default settings. One I've given you is to walk out. The other one is to become defensive. And you go on the defense, and you get ready with your armor and with your sword and with your knives, and you bring your guns and you go for war. The other one is just the one, it's either, and me, this is my weakness, black or white. I don't have a gray area. It's either you did it or you did not do it. There's no
Side moja.
Hey.
It's not being double-sided.
Don't be double-sided. It's either you did it or you did not. And this is my way of dealing with a conflict. You are wrong, I was right. Black and
Or
white.
white.
The other one, it is venting women. You rally up all your girlfriends. All of them. You attack this vigilante who is your husband.
Yes.
And you go on and you go, oh, he did, oh, he even walks, oh, he even sleeps, oh, he even walks, oh, he even snores. And you vent out to all of your friends and tell them all kinds of things. The other default setting is to label. You label your partner. He's a terrible husband. He's not even a husband. He's not even good. She's a terrible woman. She's too loud. She's too noisy. She always wants her way. You label your partner. So those are the examples of our default settings of dealing with conflict. Now, the reason why I'm using the word default, when you get a phone, it has its own default settings that it comes with.
Yes.
Automatic CG this, automatic that, automatic that. But whenever we get a new phone, we always sit down and you start to change.
You reprogram it.
You
basically.
reprogram all those settings to fit what you want. right? So that it works for you best. It's going to serve you even with its default settings, and sometimes they are the best.
Yeah.
Right? But because you want it to work a certain way, you want this color scheme, you want this theme, you want your keyboard to look like this, you customize it to fit you. So you go to the default setting and you change to what you prefer. So now, these are the tips that will help us to resolve our conflicts. If you're the kind of person that likes to walk out of the situation, stay.
So you go against the default setting.
Yes.
Okay.
Reprogram the setting.
All
Stay
right.
and face the situation. Stay and listen. Go against your will. That desire that you have of walking out, do the opposite. Stay. Ladies, we love silence treatment. This is our default setting. We love to sikuongeleshi
You go
hata kunyeshe.
silent, eh?
I am not saying a single word
No.
to you. And you purpose and you plan and you scheme on how long you will go quiet. Instead of going on silence treatment,
Wah, hey.
speak.
Lakini hiyo ni ngumu.
Yes,
Yeah.
let him know.
Yeah.
I am hurt because you did 1, 2, 3 things. But the problem with us women is that we don't know how to finger point. You don't know how to articulate why you're angry.
Oh.
Everything.
Well,
your mind-
unajua. You know the reason I am angry.
Yes, you should
your
know.
mistake.
You're my husband. You should know better.
Yeah.
You know, he's not an angel. So speak and tell him, this is why I am angry. Instead of doing the silence treatment, reset your default setting. And you choose to speak to him. Choose to tell him. You choose to communicate, articulate why you're upset, why you're disappointed, why you're angry, why you're hurt. Let me understand what you're saying. The other one, instead of labeling your partner, like we said, address the issue.
Address the issue.
Stop saying you are selfish. What you did is what was selfish, not you as a person. And if what you did was selfish, what do I have to do then that will not come across to you as selfish? Because what is right to me is wrong to you, and what is wrong to you is right to me.
you.
So you have to give leeway that when this person was doing what he was doing, he may not have been intended to be selfish, but he just, the act to you, it spoke selfishness.
Okay.
Right? You're on the same page. All right. Now, the other one that you have said is the black and white issue. And for me, this one, I've really tried to work on it. I normally say, why can't what he's saying also be right?
Why can't he be on this other side that
Yes.
I consider myself to be?
Yes.
Okay.
Why can't he also be right? Why can't he be selfish and at the same time not intend to be selfish? Because the issue is I'm saying you're selfish. And he's saying, no, I was just doing, The intention was not to come across as selfish, or the intention was not to come across as offensive. So why can't both be right?
Okay.
Why can't I be right that he was being selfish? And why can't he be right that his intention was not selfish?
So that way you'll be on the same page.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'll be able to accommodate what he's saying, and he will be able to accommodate me. And then now we can remove the element of black and white. Now, this one for venting out to your friends, ladies. Why not just have one particular friend? One particular friend that changes perspective and brings things into perspective and helps you find a middle ground.
Okay.
Because you see, when you have 10 friends who you're telling the same story, which you'll tell in 10 different ways, each person will come up with their own perception of the way they have seen it, depending on how much they love you, how much they know you, how much they dislike that vigilante we are talking about, how they have a lot of vendetta or personal interest that they will bring into that particular issue. And then you will have so many, mimi, anifanya hivyo, never, not in my life. Me, I'll walk out. Another one tells you, hey, me nitamchapa na sufuria. Another one tells you, me, I'll do this, me, I'll do this. So you have so many
ideas and opinions.
Okay, so what do I do?
Yeah.
Why not have that one friend who puts things into perspective, is able to be objective? They can listen to what you're saying and hear what you're saying. But at the same time, they will sit back and ask you, so what was Kamau saying? You paraphrase it in your own way. And then they sit back and they're like, what I'm hearing you say is Kamau was struggling with da-da-da-da-da-da. So they help you find a middle ground.
Okay.
And bring some sanity. Have that friend who calls you out when you're wrong. And they tell you in your car, be there. Hi, you're my friend, but
Hey.
okoka, my sister.
Yeah.
Just find God. In that situation,
Ni ngumu.
well, you're the problem.
Yeah.
It's not Kamau.
Kujitoa.
Yes. So some of these tips will help us to resolve conflicts better. When you find yourself in a conflict, like now, for example, we are in a confrontation. I borrowed your top and have not returned it, and you're not happy about it. And every time you see me, I'm wearing it, but I always forget, conveniently, to bring it back to you.
You forget conveniently.
Yes,
Mm,
to
I
bring
like
it,
that word,
but to wear it,
And
I don't forget to wear it.
Ah.
So you come to me and you tell me, Nyokabi, where is my top? Can you bring it back? I'm done accommodating your lying. On the other end, I have a choice. I can go on the defense, or I can become defenseless
Okay.
and acknowledge, yes, I still have your top. You see, you'll not be able to fight with that kind of of a person. Yes, Sarah, I still have you. I like it so much, and I want to keep. Why don't you just give it to me? No. I'd rather buy you another one, and da, 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 da. And at some point, because I am being defenseless, you're attacking somebody who is not defending themselves.
Yeah.
You will calm down.
Yeah,
And
then
you,
you'll-
yeah.
I'll
And then
give
we'll
you
start
that
laughing, and
top.
you'll leave and tell me, chukua tu
Chukua.
basi. You're one of those friends, you know?
Yeah,
Because I'm not on the defense.
Okay.
And I'm validating what you're saying. Yes, I have wronged you. You had given me for one event.
Oh.
But because I'm your friend and I'm
It's
naughty.
3 months down
yes,
the line and
I
I'm
have
still
won it
having
every event.
Yeah.
So the fact that I am defenseless and I'm accepting what I have done and validating your anger, then you also disarm yourself. By my response, I disarm you. You are ready for war. You just okay.
Okay. Let me tell you what my director is saying here.
Yes.
You know, Sarah, we'll do that topic for 2 hours if you want, but your time is up. Oh, really? I feel like, hey, we can continue again and again. But please, Mr. Director, just give me a minute so that Nyokabi can talk to someone who's been having this problem over and over again.
Yes.
Just maybe to encourage them. Please, usipitishe a minute.
Nisipitishe a
Nitatolewa
minute.
hapa mbio.
Well, if you're facing conflict in your marriage from either side, find a way to find a middle ground. And the best way to find a middle ground is to listen to the other person and demonstrate that you're listening, and actually listen to hear, not to respond, and to hear them. How you demonstrate that you're hearing is by paraphrasing what they're saying. You repeat what they have said to you, and you ask them, did I get it right? Is that what you're trying to tell me? So that they hear that you have heard them. And when you hear them, validate them. Acknowledge what they are telling you, and it will help you move forward from where you are. And most of all, pray about it together. Tell God, I am angry with this husband of mine. He has pissed me off. But bring me to a place where we can both find a middle ground. We can discuss and resolve the conflict. So be encouraged. Yes.
Wow.
Thank you.
I'm not going to say anything after that because Taki could water down. Thank you so much, Nyokabi, for coming today.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to hosting you again and again on such issues
Thank
and
you.
others which are very much in the mind of many people. But thank you so much for coming tonight. Have yourself a beautiful evening and keep smiling. Thank you so much for tuning in today. My name is Sarah Otieno. I will see you tomorrow and have a blessed night.